Not that much, though. Just enough.
Okay, just enough. Hey, thanks for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. Hey, right now we're learning more about a shooting spree that actually started in Minneapolis and continued through other parts of the state. It was a really violent night, but police have someone in custody. Plus, dozens of cases of E. coli are linked to McDonald's. We're getting a look at how the company is responding. I know a lot of people will be interested in that. I know I am. But first, we got to talk about this cooler weather, Ben. What happened?
Yeah, abrupt cold front. Yeah, you probably felt it move through yesterday evening. We saw a little spit of rain outside about 12 hours ago, but you can see right now temperatures markedly cooler than this time yesterday. In fact, we even have 30s up across the international border in the Arrowhead. Right now at 51 degrees in the Twin Cities. And guess what? We're only going to reach into the mid 50s for high temperatures today. We still have that breezy northwest wind, although not nearly as strong as what it was around sundown last night as that cold front moved through. That wind will turn more southwesterly later this evening. That will help to bring slightly warmer temperatures in for your Thursday. So take a look at our radar satellite composite. We did start off with quite a few clouds earlier in the day, but as drier air begins to move in, we're seeing a lot of those erode, seeing more sunshine, and I think the rest of the day will be filled with sunshine with no chance for rain today. However, tomorrow could be a little different. We'll talk more about that coming up. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. Temperatures warming up into the mid-50s today, which is still a couple degrees warmer than average for this time of year. Otherwise, a pleasant fall day is in the forecast. Chance for showers tomorrow afternoon and evening. Probably our next best chance of seeing rain through the weekend. And again, dry conditions this weekend with, again, no more 70s or 80s for that matter in your current forecast. Cece?
Gonna miss him. Thanks, Ben. Well, our top story at noon. Right now, a man is behind bars in western Minnesota after police say he went on a deadly shooting spree. It all started at an apartment complex in Minneapolis. Michelle Beck has the latest.
Kandiyohi County officials say they have the suspected gunman booked and held on multiple charges, including murder. Kandiyohi County is roughly 85 miles west of Minneapolis, where a violent afternoon unraveled. Here's the suspect caught on camera of an apartment balcony in the Lynn Lake neighborhood, pointing a gun toward the sidewalk. NPD says the man was firing at his ex-girlfriend and her current boyfriend, though they were not hit. The suspect then allegedly drove off while on the phone with crisis negotiators. Officials say the gunman, now in Kandiyohi County, shot and injured a man at a rural home. Then about 20 miles later, he tried to carjack someone else, shooting and killing the driver.
I know our officers did absolutely everything they could, but it appears clear that this person was homicidal and just bent on committing violence.
Of the many questions, we are working to learn why the suspect shot someone at that rural home off Highway 7. Could they have known each other? The Minnesota BCA is helping to investigate.
Thanks to Michelle for that. We're also following an emotional day in Minneapolis as the man convicted of killing North High School football star Deshaun Hill prepares to stand trial for murder again. Cody Forencamp was in court for his first appearance for the new trial. Deshaun Hill's family members also there. The Court of Appeals overturned Forencamp's conviction because of a legal technicality. But now the Hennepin County attorney is trying the case again with the same charges. Hill's family says they're not happy to be going through this again.
To come back here today, a slap in the face. Like, your son don't mean nothing. I'd rather see my son on TV playing football, living out his dreams. You got to go through all of this again. See his autopsy report, all of this crap all over again. For what? For what?
The judge kept Forencamp's bail at $1 million. He'll be back in court next month. Over at the U of M, classes are back on schedule today after a second day of pro-Palestine protests. Yesterday, the demonstrations led to a lockdown for a dozen buildings. Murrell Hall is still closed as crews assess the damage caused by protesters Monday night. They barricaded doors and spray-painted walls and security cameras. 11 people were arrested, but no one has been charged yet. Organizers of the occupation say they're all current students or recent grads of the U. All right, let's talk Decision 2024. With just under 2 weeks until the election, a lot of voters are heading to the polls early, including the candidates themselves. Audrey Russo shows us one of the big votes just a couple of hours ago.
As of October 17th, 333,000 people in Minnesota have cast their ballot early. Those numbers coming from the Secretary of State's website. But now, 6 days later, that total has likely swelled to close to 500,000. And that's thanks to all of the efforts to get people out to the polls early.
Morning, everybody.
Governor Tim Walz joined those ranks this morning, casting a ballot at one of 3 early in-person voting sites in St. Paul. Not to be outdone, Minneapolis has launched 11 pop-up sites where people can vote early. Today's site is at the Higher Ground Evergreen residence from 11 to 6. And this tactic for early voting is new for presidential elections. It was just approved by the state legislature last year. People who stopped by the first pop-up site yesterday say that they're coming away from the experience satisfied.
I think it's really convenient. I wasn't sure what my schedule would be like on November 5th, and I saw this coming back from class, so just popped by.
We have a list of all 11 of the Minneapolis pop-up voting sites on our website, KARE11.com. They'll be open for the next 13 days. Hard to believe that's how much time we have until Election Day. Now in St. Paul, the 3 early in-person voting sites have slightly different hours, so you're going to want to head to the Secretary of State website just to make sure that it's going to be open at the one that you want to go to. Back to you.
That was Audrey Russo reporting there. Thanks for that. Here's a quick look at what's happening on the campaign trail today. Former President Donald Trump is in Georgia for a couple of rallies. It comes after he spent yesterday in North Carolina hoping to shore up a state he's won twice before. Later this week, he's expected to appear on the Joe Rogan podcast. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris will be in Pennsylvania for a televised town hall today. She took the day off from campaigning yesterday. Instead, she had some stars stumping for her. Rapper Eminem joining former President Barack Obama for a rally in Detroit. Harris is also expected to have Bruce Springsteen perform at some of her upcoming rallies. In other national news, today, union members with Boeing are voting on a new contract that could end their strike. About 33,000 workers walked off the job more than a month ago. Some employees seem to be on board with the new tentative deal, but others are unimpressed. This deal would raise wages 35% over 4 years, bring back an incentive program and ratification bonus, and a 401k boost. That will cost Boeing an estimated $1 billion per month. The government is fining American Airlines $50 million for violations of rules meant to protect passengers in wheelchairs. The violations are from 2019 to 2023. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the airline mishandled and damaged thousands of wheelchairs and didn't give adequate assistance to people who need it. American Airlines says it has spent $175 million this year to make those changes. The IRS has announced fairly significant changes for next year. New tax brackets reflect an increase of nearly 3% because of inflation. Standard deductions will be adjusted. Single tax filers will see an increase of $400 to $15,000. People filing jointly will see a standard reduction of around $22,500, and that's up $600 from this year. The policy changes will impact your tax returns in 2026. You want to hear this if you eat at McDonald's. The company is now working to restore some confidence in their food safety after nearly 50 people got E. coli across 10 states. NBC's Maggie Vespa has what we know today.
Hey there, from outside McDonald's world headquarters here in Chicago, an absolute crisis for the iconic Golden Arches. The CDC yesterday confirming, in their words, a fast-moving and we now know deadly E. coli outbreak tied to the restaurant giant, saying among the nearly 50 people sickened across 10 states, 10 have now been hospitalized. And that includes a child, the CDC says, who's now battling kidney disease as a result of the E. coli infection. They also say one person, in their words, an older adult in Colorado, has died. Now, in most cases, more specifically, the agency says all the customers sickened by this outbreak, most of them report eating specifically the Quarter Pounder, obviously a longtime menu staple. McDonald's going a step further, getting even more specific, saying in addition to zeroing in on the Quarter Pounder, they believe, in their words, in a written statement, they say it, quote, may be linked, the outbreak may be linked to slivered onions used in the Quarter Pounder, and they say sourced by a single supplier that serves 3 distribution centers. So McDonald's now says it's removed both the slivered onions from its menu, from its operations, as well as the Quarter Pounder itself, at least temporarily, from the menu in several states. And this morning, McDonald's USA President Joe Erlinger appearing on the Today Show saying, given those steps, given those procedures, he says he's, quote, very confident that customers can return to McDonald's safely. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Chicago.
Yikes, hopefully they can figure that out. Well, today, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is highlighting the impact of the first year of free school meals in the state. Officials say more than 150 million meals were served to students in the last year. According to their numbers, Minnesota families saved an average of $1,000 per student. Flanagan served breakfast at a Maple Grove Elementary School before breaking down that new data.